Hi everyone, this is Sandy from Scissors in the City. This card was made using Lawn Fawn products. I used the Lawn Fawn Critters in the Desert, the stamps, their dies, and also their new stencils. The cactus hillside border and the desert canyon backdrop were also used. And then to cut the border, I used the blanket stitched oval. On the card you can also add the cute little snake and the roadrunner. If you're using the stencils, you can use ink. I use these Lawn Fawn inks along with some brushes, or you can color them with any of your choice of colors. Either alcohol markers, crayons, pencils, whatever you choose. To make the card, you need your packet that says Desert Critter Card, along with some adhesive. I used both wet and dry, a ruler, a scissors, and of course a paper trimmer. Go ahead and take the items out of your envelope. However, I did leave my critters and the little flowers in the envelope for now. We're going to need this. We need this piece of paper, and we are going to decide where we want the pattern to show. So it's up to you where you want to place it. And there's also the reverse side if you prefer more blue or pink. This time I think I'm going to use the pattern that shows a little bit more yellow. Now you need to cut this paper 1/4 of an inch larger than your oval. So I cut it there. Then this dimension is 4 1/4. So it should now be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I went ahead and adhered it to my card base. And what I like to do is stand both my edges up on a flat surface and then use my fingers to get it right and left positioned. Okay. Next, we will need our flowers out of our envelope. And before we do that, we are going to trim just to the right of the second cactus. So about like that. And then that one we're going to use later, but set them aside. Now we're going to put our pink flowers on these green flowers. There's 2 large ones and 3 small ones. So the large ones go on. But the small ones we're only going to place the one on. So we're going to have 2 leftover flowers. The reason we're not putting this flower on is because our little coyote will cover it up. Now we're going to attach our tan hillside to the green hillside. So just line up your curves. And then we can trim off this. Doesn't need to be exact because you'll never see it. Then grab your canyon, your desert canyon piece. That's going to be here directly on your card base, about 3/4 of an inch from the top. And you do want it centered right and left. So about like that. Then one of your extra flowers I'm going to put in here just in case he shows. Sometimes he does, depending on how you place your cactus. Then we're going to take dimensionals . And I'm going to put them on several spots. And take off the paper backing. And then you're going to put that on wherever it pleases you. About like that. It needs to be at least a 1/4 of an inch away from the bottom edge. Oops, I see a backing that's peeking out there. Like that. Then you can take your top piece and just kind of figure out where you're going to put it first. Obviously it needs to cover the bottom here. And I like that little arm of that cactus sticking out. And then I use dimensionals on this also. And take off the paper. I'm going to get this arm underneath there. But again, I want to make sure I cover up the bottom. Depending on where you placed your hillside in there, you may or may not have trouble covering that up. Like so. Okay. And then this little cactus, I trimmed him off. And I'm going to tuck him in just under this brown. Of course, it glued down too good there. And this little cactus will get placed directly on the paper. Okay. And you can set that aside, and we're going to do some inking. I'm going to start with my little coyote. And the easiest way to do this is to just put some adhesive on the back and then stick them on some paper or whatever surface you're using. And my little brushes. I have a lot of pink fresh brushes and those other ones that I don't even know whose they are. I guess one's a Nouveau and I don't know what this one is. Then you need the stencil. And I actually started with the ears first because I was making them pink. You can start with your body first. But then just line up your stencil with your little critter and get some ink. I started off my paper because I didn't want that blob there. And then maybe just do a little extra on the edges. Don't go all the way. You get a little variation there. That's it for his nose, or his ears rather. Then I went to the dark one and I made his nose dark. So I used the walnut. And we'll just make his nose dark. And then we can do his body, and that was dough. Again, just line it up. The first time through, I just kind of got it all even. I wasn't worried about anything. I just wanted to change the color of his body to the brown. Okay, now that I have them all the tan or the dough, I'm going to go just on the outside of some of the spots, maybe his feet. You choose however you want to do it. Maybe his ears. Give him some darker ears. And do his whole tail, just a little bit of his tail. And his feet. like that. And now we're going to set him aside. Now I do kind of like that dough, so that color dough, I'm going to take my sentiments, and I like Hello for the Desert. So let's trim that down. And I'm going to ink the edges of this. There. And we'll set that aside. Now let's grab our snake. He's easy. Again, we're just going to go put some adhesive on the back, place him down, and then find the stencil. And for the snake, we need the green. Obviously, you can make your snake whatever color you want. And again, start it off just so that it didn't get too dark in one spot. And I did the whole thing. And then I went back and did maybe his tail. Do snakes have tails? A little bit around the edge. Oh. And he's done. He's an easy peasy one. Then we need our Roadrunner. He's actually my favorite. And Lawn Fawn's coming out with these stencils for a lot of their stamps now, which I think will be really nice. Because I know a lot of us really don't like coloring. So I started with his beak and I made it just a little pink. I didn't want it too pink, but just to give it a little color. Then his body, and again just place the stencil over. You can kind of see the little etching to know where you need to place it. And then with this, I tried to get just in his underbelly a little bit. Obviously, you make them how you would like. To the top of his head. And then we need blue. I don't know what color I used on that or last. No, I think I'd rather use the green one. Take the green off. line up my wings. And there you go. Set that aside. Then we have one left, which is the rocks. And I use this other brownish, grayish. And there is actually a stencil for it, however, it's just kind of all the same color. Maybe let's make that rock a little darker. And maybe this little one in the front even darker yet. There we go. I'll get rid of my paper. And now we need our card back. And now it's time to place things. So, because I have quite a bit of dimension already, I didn't want to pop these up too much. And again, depending on where your card, where your, what do I want to say, that where your sand or ground is. Now I do need a dimension there because this one's down a little bit. And then we want our coyote. And here we need one dimension here. And I wanted his ears to cover this cactus, or this flower. You can do the Roadrunner. He can go right behind there. And maybe the snake is sitting there waiting too. And then we had an extra little flower that I have lost. But I would tuck the little flower in here or there, like I did on this one. Oh, one more thing. Gotta put our sentiment on. There you go. There's our card. Thank you for watching.